I literally just had so much fun. What is up, y'all? We are back with another video. What type of video? We're going to be reviewing Abigail, y'all. Now, if you follow the channel, you know this is one of my most anticipated horror films this year since the day I seen the trailer. This movie has Melissa Barrera starring in it and is done by Radio Silence. We got to get into it. You guys know how the reviews go. First half is spoiler free. The ending half is spoilers. But before we get into it, definitely smash the like button because it definitely helps. So, to kind of give y'all, the overall, summary of Abigail, after a group of criminals kidnap the ballerina daughter of a powerful underworld figure, they retreat to an isolated mansion, unaware that they're locked inside with no normal little girl. So to get into this, it's exactly that, to be honest. I know if you saw the trailer, we saw a lot of crazy things in the trailer. We saw, Abigail dancing around as a ballerina, and this is nothing spoiler, but we know that Abigail is a vampire. And Melissa Barrera, basically with another group of, burglars, they are getting into like this situation. It is definitely what we see in the trailer and some. So basically, Melissa Barrera is part of a group where, they're obtaining Abigail for certain reasons and stuff like that, and we find out basically that Abigail is a ballerina vampire. Now, this movie was just fun, to be honest. It was just fun. It was a great vampire movie. It definitely had a lot of things like the Lost Boys in it. For me, I saw a lot of the Lost Boys, a lot of hat tips to the other vampire movies like Fright Night and stuff like that. Here and there, maybe I'm tripping, but I did see them pay respect to the other vampire movies with little things. Overall, I loved the cast. I really did love the cast, man. Rest his soul. Angus Cloud's performance was amazing. And to get into it a little more, Melissa Barrera, man, as Joy in this was just crazy. Like, I feel that this is one of her best performances that, we seen. We seen her in Scream 5, Scream 6, now in Abigail. And I think she killed it, man. This was Melissa Barrera's movie. Did a great job. She really had me invested in her character from the moment, we see the story just open up. She has a lot of, depth to her character, a lot of stuff with the backstory that gets pulled up present that I think brings a lot of more things to her character. Overall, I feel like out of all the characters, Melissa Barrera and, Abigail, those two right there are the stars. But it is other highlighted characters in this movie to get into. Like I said, Angus Cloud as Dean. I definitely enjoyed Sammy. She was super funny. And Kevin Durant as Peter, he was cracking my theater up, bro. He was like, literally the stuff he said, it was just selling, bro, back to back. Straight comedy from Kevin Durant as Peter. He was very funny, brought a lot of comedy to it, but they all had little funny moments. Sammy did, and I really enjoyed the Frank character a little bit. He had a lot of backstory to him, and this movie definitely has, a little bit of twists and turns where it kind of has you scratching your head thinking that someone is doing something for others. That's all I'm going to say. But whole time, once you get into it more, you find out more things about it. I love the story with this. It's just a fun movie. It's just a ride, bro. I think with this movie, it's more just on like the comedy side of things and thriller. It's not one of those like, solid horror movies, like very solid, all around just, gory and just seriousness. No, it's fun and it's also gory, and it just has like a different feel to it. I feel like this movie right here, it just gives all the horror fans a break to go and have fun. You just go in there and you just let the movie play rent free in your head, and you just like, wow, this was a fun movie. I think overall, I really enjoyed a lot of the action scenes, the brutalness at a point. It does get very brutal. The story and the performance from the actors was the highlight of this. The performance and the story, for me, it pulls me in immediately. It pulls me in as soon as, it kicks up. It starts, it gets right to it for real. And yeah, overall, I really enjoy Abigail. It was just a fun horror movie for sure. Is it the best horror movie? I wouldn't say that, but it's definitely a fun horror movie for me. Like, I definitely enjoyed it. So that is my spoiler-free review of Abigail. Now, it's time to get into spoilers. So if you guys haven't seen Abigail, if I were you, I will definitely head out. So to get into it overall, like I said, when I saw the trailer of this, I didn't think Melissa Barrera was going to basically, run the movie. And like, I didn't think this was like a Melissa Barrera, center movie really. I mean, it was a lot of big names in this, but it is a Melissa Barrera center movie in my opinion. This is her movie. Her story kinda in my opinion, but it definitely has a lot of other characters like Dean. Frank is another big character we seen. But overall, I really liked the aggressiveness that Melissa Barrera had in this character. Some of that Sam Carpenter that was in this character at Abigail. So to get into it, overall, Abigail, the little girl who plays Abigail, Alicia Ware, she did an amazing performance. Like, she definitely performed like a vampire and just mixed it with the ballerina stuff. It definitely has a lot of like that pop culture feel to that character, almost like Megan, with the dance and stuff like that. I definitely think they're trying to, create one of those type of moments with this movie. But overall, this movie is very, funny. It's a serious movie at times. It has a great story. And I love the scenes, bro. A lot of the brutalness. Like, towards the end, I will say this, towards the end, it got very brutal to the point people were, like, drenched in blood, bro. Like, that was crazy. I didn't expect it to be that crazy, or to the point, like, Melissa Barrera is drenched in blood. I did not expect, Sammy to be converted into a vampire. I like that. That was very cool to see that Abigail can actually puppet someone into being a vampire after biting them and stuff and control them. That was a very cool touch. But man, Kevin Durant as Peter, he was cracking me the hell up. Just the questions, and they were right in his face, and everyone just looking at him, giving him like the, what the fuck are you talking about? That was just the funniness. And the comedy for me wasn't too forced. Some of you guys probably will say that. I feel like it came off a lot natural with having like a guy like Frank being super aggressive to Peter and everything, and he's like just very clueless, but Frank is very serious, and the comedy is just compacted right there in the middle of the dialogue. So I thought that was very cool. But overall, Melissa Barrera is a star of this, with Alicia, as Abigail. And I like Sammy. Like I said, Angus Cloud, he always performs great. Like, his performance is always the same, but that's not bad, and rest his soul. But it was just a thing where Angus Cloud, I think the way he performed really was something he brought from his real self, like in real life, because I see that in everything, Euphoria, and all of this. But to get into it a little more, we kind of find out about the backstory and everything with Abigail. I like that little twist with her dad and everything, how she's working for her dad, and she's kind of basically trying to win his love as a father, as a daughter and a father. She wants that like relationship with her dad, but he's not messing with his daughter. He's like kind of putting her on the back burner. So what she does is brings the enemies to this big house and just take away her dad's enemies for him. I hope that he begins to love her like a father should, but you know how that goes. And overall, like I said, it was just a fun story. It wasn't nothing too serious in my opinion, but it was very fun. A lot of the scenes I liked. From the moment we found out that Abigail was a vampire, the whole house just went upside down. How they were just locked in the house with Abigail. That was a very cool touch. I thought that was very wild. The beheading scene of the Dean character, that was very crazy, but a lot of cheesiness. It was just fun overall. And like I said, it's a vampire movie. I think this is a perfect vampire movie for this generation. I think it really is. I think a lot of people can go and have fun with this with friends and family and stuff like that. But one thing I will say, only negative I really have was the ending. I felt the final act was a little too long. It dragged. I know they had to explain a lot of the open plots and everything with Abigail, but it kind of dragged a little bit. I like the twist where we found out like Lambert was a part of the vampires also, and kind of had to pass it on, and Frank ends up being the vampire. And then at a point, Melissa Barrera, I thought, I'm like, oh shit, are we going to see Melissa Barrera as a vampire? That's going to be crazy. But it ends up being to the point after she takes out Frank, we find out the bite doesn't count anymore. That was a very cool touch. But I thought it would have been cool to see more of the dad, Abigail's dad. Man, he stepped in there. He was Dracula when he stepped in there for sure, bro. Like, they really exaggerated him being tall, the grayness in his face. That was very cool. But overall, the ending, it was fun all the way up until the point Frank became the vampire. It was just a lot of combat, like on some Mortal Kombat shit, brutal back and forth and everything with Abigail and, Melissa Barrera. And I definitely love this full circle moment, how when Joey first meets Abigail, Melissa Barrera first meets her, she kind of gives her the pinky promise, like, I'll never let anything happen to you. And then it kind of comes full circle in the end. I loved that touch. It just brought everything together for me. And Abigail stuck to her works. I thought at a point she was going to take Melissa Barrera. I thought Abigail was ruthless, but she hits her with the pinky promise, like, I'm not going to let nothing happen to you. Just help me take out Frank. and then I'll let you go. And she stuck to her word, and I loved it, man. I think that right there just pulled the whole story together, just to show that Abigail had a heart towards Melissa Barrera, because Melissa Barrera had a heart towards Abigail in the beginning because she had a child of her own. Overall, this was a fun movie for me. Very, very fun. It was a very fun movie. I had a great time with it. If I had to rank this movie right now, fresh out the theater, and just I kind of thought about it on my way home, I will give this a 8.5 out of 10. Yes, I feel comfortable with that. I will give Abigail a 8.5 out of 10 just because I like movies like this. It's a fun time, and you know, every movie doesn't have to be serious, and this definitely shows it can be serious and have comedy in it. So 8.5 out of 10 for me. And then when it comes to blood and gore, definitely a 9 out of 10 for sure. For blood and gore, 9 out of 10. I'm gonna give it that. But overall, definitely check out Abigail if you're a fan of vampire flicks and just a fan of the cast like Melissa Barrera and Angus Cloud. Check it out, man, for sure. But unfortunately, this is the end of the video. I want y'all to hit me up on my social medias at ILIKESCARY on Instagram, ILIKESCARY_ on TikTok, Brandon on Facebook, ILIKESCARY on Twitter. And yeah, you are right there where it says subscribe. Next week, click join and become a member of the channel. I want you all to watch some horror movies. Stay scary out there. Peace. Until next time, guys.